This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
Judge, both by way of culture and constitutionally, by way of tradition of the judiciary and constitutionally, the next most senior judge assumed office in an acting capacity. And it's almost a fait accompli that next most senior judge will be confirmed after recommendation by the NJC to the governor, will be appointed by the governor, and the appointment will be confirmed by the House of Assembly of a state. That's the way that's the way it has been done in Nigeria, both at the state level and at the federal level. So the first step in the process after the acting capacity stage is that the recommendation pursuant to Section 271 of our Constitution will be done by the National Judicial Council. After the recommendation, then the appointment will be done by the governor or the president, as the case may be, and afterwards it will be confirmed by either the Senate or the House of Assembly of a state, as the case may be. So that's the process.
So, in this case now where the NJC has asked the governor to withdraw this appointment, and part of this ask is because the person he appointed is, as we understand it, fourth in line for the position of chief judge. If he doesn't withdraw, what happens? What could the NJC possibly do?
Okay, if he doesn't withdraw, it means that he did it unconstitutionally. He did it without the recommendation from the NJC. So it means it's unconstitutional. Yeah, I know that it's even unfortunate that it is the governor that was number 4 at the Supreme Court that is also finding no one else worthy but number 4 on the judiciary of their state. If it does that, it means that it's going unconstitutional. And what that will now do will make the Imo State Judiciary be on a frontal collision with the National Judicial Council, because there is no way that chief judge will be endorsed or will be recognized in any way whatsoever as legitimate by the National Judicial Council. And we have to always remember that the currency of the judiciary or of any judicial officer is confidence in the fact that he or she will dispense justice. And if there are already shenanigans or some cogs in his credibility, that will seriously affect the manner of his delivery or her delivery of the perks of our office or the responsibilities of our office.
Right. So, two things in this particular case. First, we know that the Imo State government has come out to say that they will more or less comply with this decision by the NJC. And the claim is that the governor made the appointment on the basis of credible information he had before him at the time. One would think that being a second-term governor, he should actually know the process of what it takes to appoint a chief judge. But I digress a bit. The second thing is his appointment of Judge Theophilus. That came, I think this was in the first week of April. On the 3rd of April or so was when it was reported. It has essentially taken the NJC about 3 weeks to get to this point where they issued this warning. It's not a judgment, but it took them about 3 weeks to issue this. Does it indicate a sort of lapse or a gap in how the NJC responds to these discrepancies and a clear flouting of the rules?
Okay, with respect to the governor being the one to say he has seen one or two things and maybe his decision, I think that he is not qualified in law and constitutionally to be the one to make the finding. The vetting of anybody's competence or credibility as a judge should never ever be left to a politician, especially a partisan politician as the governor of Imo State. It has to be left to non-partisan people as the NJC. We must remember the words of Nikitobi in Buhari and INEC. He said that the trademark of every politician is to be very, very biased.
So, Mr. Ojieno, you have said that it's the NJC that recognizes the chief judge of any particular state. Recommends,
yes. After vetting.
So, in this particular instance, as they have given their decision, just speaking hypothetically, in the event that decision is not adhered to, what happens next?
It's gonna cause chaos and a credibility crisis in Imo State judiciary. And even the person that is going to assume the office as chief judge, because he does not have the imprimatur of the NJC, he won't be able to parley and have camaraderie with all other members of the judiciary in the country. And I think that the government of Imo State, they have seen that it is serious fire on the mountain. And it's going to be a very, very bad one. That's why they must come out to say they have to amend their ways and ensure that they course correct. Otherwise, what will happen will be that the judiciary in Imo State will be in serious crisis.
Mr. Ojieno, thank you very much for your time and expertise on this conversation. Justice Ojieno is a legal practitioner who joined us this morning to speak on the NJC, the National Judicial Council's directive to the Imo State Governor, Uzodimma, to rescind the appointment of Theophilus Nzeukwu, who was appointed as acting chief judge. You're still listening to Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos, your BYU station. We urge you to stay tuned. In a few short moments, our conversations continue.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.